Until the 1st of February, I'm excited to be partnering with HelloFresh UK. Get money off fresh meal kits delivered to your door by using the discount link or the checkout code in the description below. Get 50% off your first box and 35% off the following 3, as well as 3 free gifts. If you want to see more from HelloFresh UK, then check out my social medias where I've been sharing my meals the last few weeks. And what's best, if you sign up, you help support the channel and you can cancel at any time. Well, history has been made in Northern Ireland, and ironically, it's nothing to do with us. Hopefully we'll be joining the big boys in the future. We'll talk about that later on. But for us, it's a chance to avoid another home cup shock. It's transfer deadline day with a right back still needed. But will any of our stars force their way out of the club? Let's go and find out. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 53 of Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. It is a big episode today as we've got deadline day in Northern Ireland, and for the first time in a few years, I think we might be a little bit more active. We also face Ballina in the second round of the League Cup. Doesn't look like a massive game on paper against a lower league side. But don't forget last year, 2 of the 3 cups we went out at home to lower league opposition. So these 2 games against Ballina and then Donegal Celtic as well. Big banana skins for us based on last year. And even if it's not one of the cups that gets us into Europe, it would be lovely to win something this year. So if you're looking forward to seeing if we can and what's happening in a transfer window, then please do put a thumbs up on it. The season has started largely as expected. I've changed this little tab here to team stats so you can compare us to the league when I keep talking about it. But for now, let's go through to the schedule and have a look at the 2 games since you were with me. So here we are. We played what was the bottom side in the league, Dergview. We won by 3-1. We played the top side, the champions, Linfield. We lost by 2-0. And in that game, I sort of went for it a bit. I played a bit more attacking than I would normally. I stayed on standard rather than dropping to cautious. And it didn't really work. We competed a bit, but Linfield were the better side. We're still away from that. A decent 0-0 draw at Ballina, albeit we were outplayed. As you can see, I did play our first 11 for the full 90, knowing that we'd be able to rest people in midweek. So I don't know if that's going to pan out. I don't know whether we end up with 2 poor results, but given our general record against Ballina, a 0-0 draw is probably not a bad effort, is it? So with that done, let's go and have a look at the transfer screen. There's a little bit since you were with me. Annie United trying to sign Ryan Martin, another youngster that's not really developed. No players in, 2 players out. Killian Heaney has gone to Newtown on loan. He's gone to Wales. It's most of the wages paid. It's a chance for him to play football, which he's doing pretty well at the moment, in fairness. And at 26, he'll be off at the end of his contract. And then Shea Lucas, not as much of a wage contribution, but Carrick have bought him in for 20% of his wages. And to be fair to him, he is going to be a decent player for them. So hopefully he does well. And fingers crossed he comes back a better player. If not, he'll probably get released at the end of the year too. So those are the 2 that have gone out. We are still looking for that right back to come in on deadline day. Maybe we can get a loan. Maybe we can get a free. We've got a couple on trial at the minute, and no one who really stands out for an affordable wage. That second part being the key bit. Before we go on to our game though, I've got to show you something else in Northern Ireland, and it's the reason we're only showing 1 game today. Because if I take you through to the Irish Premiership, it's a bit I cut out of the last episode because it was too long and waffly. But 2 of the 4 sides that got into Europe last year made it through to the playoff round in the Europa Conference. The other 2, Coleraine and Glentoran, they did win their first round ties but went out at the second attempt. Linfield, they were the champions, and you know what? As I go on to the wrong team, they've delivered again. If we go to the schedule, they have made it to the Europa Conference group stages. Maybe disappointed they went out to TNS in Champions League qualifying, but in the Europa Conference 4th qualifying round, 5-1 on aggregate wasn't even close, and they managed to beat us comfortably in between just to make us look bad. They have got TNS again in the Europa Conference group stage, so it would be a good time to get revenge. Larnaca in their first game and Ujpest, maybe chances to get points elsewhere as well. So a really good achievement by champions Linfield. But what's an even better achievement and a big moment for this nation is Larn have followed them into the Europa Conference groups. They beat Greek side PAOK in the fourth qualifying round. They beat Israeli side Maccabi Tel Aviv in the third qualifying round. They have come through 4 rounds of qualifying to make it to the groups, and while it's not as easy a draw for them, if they can pick up a point, it's a bonus. They've got games like Bate Borisov where maybe it's possible. Their first or second game against Hapoel, maybe an opportunity too. But 2 sides in the group stages, the coefficient may well go big this year. We will have a very quick look at it before we crack on with the episode, just to see if Northern Irish football is on course to do anything. If we have a look at this year so far, surely just by winning 4 qualifiers they've picked up, yeah, look, this is our best year already as Northern Irish football. So as it stands, we're going to overtake Belarus. There's a couple of others that could be caught. Georgia haven't got anyone in the groups, neither of the Republic of Ireland. So if they can push on, if they can take it to the next level and maybe get 2 or 3 results between them, this could be a real big year for Northern Ireland. And then hopefully with the squad we've put together, either this year or next year, maybe we'll be able to join them in qualification. That's all hopes for the future though. Let's go straight into Ballina Millard. The League Cup is the second biggest in Northern Ireland, the biggest one that doesn't get you a European place. And with Larne and Linfield getting friendly home draws as well, you'd expect a lot of the big boys to be making it through. Andrew Miller is playing for the visitors. He's a young player who was of course on our books and was released last summer. He's loan listed but apparently is going to feature for them. They've also got Lewis Trickett on the left. Another former player of ours, wasn't particularly great, and hopefully he won't be too much of a threat to us today. But let's go and see how many are fit. I took the gamble at the weekend, most of them struggling, so we're going to rotate fully, and we'll be back in a minute to run through the 11. Okay then, it's not quite a full rotation because we've not got a game for another week, and that's against a third tier side, but we have taken a few liberties and rested people where possible. If you look outside the bench, Whitehall and Bell both get a full rest. Ben Williams gets a rest to the bench. And it is a chance for us to mix some of the new boys that haven't had a chance and some of the experienced ones as well. So Taylor Hart comes in, Latifa and Coffey back in, Scott finally back to fitness, and I want to give Friel a real go up front as well. But Dobbin is basically the tired legs that's going to have to play. So hopefully he'll deliver. If not, we've got McGill or Williams depending on the game situation. But the 11 we picked in full. Ethan Ross, the immovable object in goal. Dobbin and Hammond the fullbacks with Owen alongside Wilson Brown. 2 left-footed centre-halves yet again. Taylor Hart joins Sean Daniels in the middle. Latifa comes back in alongside Scott, who's returning from injury. And Barry Coffey behind Alex Neil up front. Big hitters on the bench if we need them. The bottom 4 are great attacking talents. Oren Crow will get a chance if need be as well. But let's go and get into it. It's a big game for us. Chance to avoid a shock in the cup for the second year in a row. So let's go and see if we can avoid it and in turn put in a good display. And here we go. Lewis Trickett is actually in for Jaden Withers today, another one of our former wingers. I didn't notice him. He was a proper hero in the third tier. Where are you? You've got to be good enough for us. No, he's not. He's not developed at all. What a player he was though. The first 2 seasons and ever present. Big for us in that promotion season as well. He is a man we'll remember fondly. Great to see him still playing. He is on the bench today alongside a number of other stars. But for us, it is a big opportunity. Get the job done. Avoid the silly games that we got knocked out in last year. And try and get through comfortably. Lewis Scott motivated. Problem with Ben Owen and complacency again. At least he hasn't been clubbing for the last 3 weeks. So let's go and get into the first half. Very sparsely populated audience compared to our last game. We had nearly 4,000 in and a record broken for Linfield. But unfortunately, a 1 extra season ticket holder not really benefiting us in this one. Let's hope we can get this job done. Into the first half we go. Well, back with 9 minutes on the clock. It's a Graham corner for the visitors. They have started well here. Had the only shot on the stats, and this time we managed to get it clear. Latifa can bring it downfield on the left-hand side. Space to run into, but lots of bodies back. Look how quickly they got in support defensively. Lewis Scott on the left though to Latifa. We've kept the ball. Daniels finds Hart. First start of the season for him to Barry Coffey. Good save by the goalkeeper. Probably should have done better with that. Maybe you'd argue Griffiths finishes that one, but he hasn't proven it yet, so I can't say much. Left-footed corner from Daniels. Outswinger, looking for the back post again. We've got some big players up there. Both centre-halves up. Owen's there. Can't quite get on the end of it. Falls for Coffey on the edge of the box to the byline. Good chip into Scott. And Marks at the back. Why did he head it? He had time to bring it down, but the keeper makes the save. And he's out for another corner kick. First bit of concerted pressure we've had. Daniels will take the corner again. You all know where it's going. Owen's up there, doesn't win it. Lewis Scott can't get there. Trickett clears away to Latifa. He brings it down on the left, nothing really doing, and it just peters out as we get the ball back in midfield. Barry Coffey knocking it down for Lewis Scott. He's starting to look promising on his return here. Gets the ball down the left wing. No real pressure on him, so goes all the way to the byline. Support from Hammond, the new boy. He cuts it back to Daniels. Chips into Hart. He's unmarked. Oh, that's a huge lack of composure. Volleys it miles over the bar. No one near him at all. He had to score that. We're dominating the game. We're the best side. But now Hart's picked up a knock. And we're 10 to the break. It is still 0-0. And unfortunately for us, that's how it stays at half time. I am going to say, go and make it happen. But we're going to have to bring off Taylor Hart. He was struggling a bit. We don't want to risk a bigger injury. And I'm going to have to bring on the big boy. Morgan Griffiths will be the replacement. Barry Coffey will drop in a little bit. And that's what we're going to do for the second half. Can we get on the front foot? We're going to go positive. Try and enforce this game a little bit more. Because they've not really offered a lot in attack. And we're getting acres of space. Though we've lost the ball in the middle here. This is what happens every time I do it. Do not score. Every time I go positive in a game, no matter who the opposition, we just get completely outdone on the counter. And you always mention it down in the comments, but it's why I don't do it. And why I'm generally fearful of it with poor sides, because you just leave yourself so exposed and you end up with a game of trying to outscore the opposition. I don't fancy us in that. It's another corner for Bellina Millard. They've started the second half really well here, and I'm a little bit worried about it. I'll give it 5 more minutes and I'll be fair, but if it doesn't work in this game, it will be the last you see of us going positive for a long time. As Trickett goes down the line, Dobbin intercepts. He can bring the ball away. Now get back on the front foot and start showing you can dominate this match. As Hammond's got it on the left-hand side to Scott. We'll have to think about replacing him soon, building his fitness. Daniels goes back to halfway and Owen plays it to Daniels again. Lots of left footers in this team as the long ball forward is awful. Who is that aimed at? Finley's made a hash of it though. Ends up clearing it down the left to Trickett. Made a good pass in the end. Trickett carries it down the line and again, so exposed on the counter-attack now. Trickett goes all the way back to his keeper. Is this really a key highlight? Are you sure about it? Gallagher picks it up again to Elliott. Into midfield, Griffiths nicks it. Finds Friel. Lovely touch. Why is he shooting from that far out? That's maybe the problem with that natural lack of pace. And at the hour mark, I think the big guns will have to come on because we are struggling to put this lot away. Again, the stats are suggesting we're starting to dominate a bit more, that we're getting more possession, we're getting the ball forward more. But he's not really suggesting that we've had good chances. So we're going to make changes. Ben Williams will come on for Dobbin. I'm going to leave Owen at the back. There's nobody else to replace him. In midfield, I'm going to take off Barry Coffey for Oren Crow, I think. Maybe even one of the wingers, though. It will be... We'll leave that one. Barry Coffey will have to stay on. Latifa will be replaced by Mpardi. Moore will come on for Scott. And up front, Jonathan McElhatton. Tried and trusted. What can you do for us today? If it's any consolation for us, Linfield are being held as well. But again, it's the visitors with a corner here. And they're starting to look really threatening from set pieces. How are they getting up the pitch so much more? We're trying to be positive and dominate the game. And in the end, we're the ones coming under pressure. We are not a side that is capable of being in the ascendancy. Look at us, we're really struggling with it. I'm going to go attacking with 10 to go. I just want to prove to you that we are not capable of doing it. Yes, we might nick a winner now, but we've not looked any better in the game. McElhatton crosses to Williams, his shot's blocked. Not sure why he was up there, but he didn't really make the most of it. 2 minutes plus stoppages to go. And again, it's going to be a 0-0 draw. No goal in 3 matches now. And to be honest, we were really poor there. Oren Crow will now come on. I'm not happy with the performance. We'll take off Barry Coffey. We'll bring on Oren Crow. And in the last half an hour, we have got to do better. I'll keep attacking. I'll keep proving that we can't play on the front foot. And then after that, we're going back to normal. We've got to bear in mind at this point as well, we've probably got at least 7 or 8 of our first team out. And at the moment, against a second tier opponent, they're looking very average. As Ross gets the ball in goal, oh my word. That pass was risky and it was fraught with danger and nearly cost us. It's a long ball over to McElhatton though. Daniels puts him in. McElhatton delivers. We get a goal. We might be on our way through. And now we're going to drop to balance because they are just taking the mick out of us. and we are not offering a great deal. We get the ball via exactly the same route as if we were playing balanced, which is picking it up deep, Daniel's finding the pass and Mukul running on, and now we've got a corner to defend. Moore heads the ball away, does well the big lad. Withers picks it up on the left, our former star. Burns goes for the shot, blocked to Hammond. He clears away to McKeown, and Pardee can't get there, and now Bellina Malada in. Key gets there from Owen, great save by the goalkeeper. Though we are back on the right-hand side with Williams here at the back. Can we keep possession? Daniel's over the top. It's the same ball again. Mukul in. Mukul finishes. And I've got to be honest with you here. No matter what game plan we play, you've seen attack, you've seen balanced. We've got the same defensive dangers. The goals have came via the same route. I'll be honest with you, I'm going to stick with balance because it seems to be a lot less risky. Well, all I can say after this is it's a good job we've got a week off, and at least we have avoided the shock we had last year, but it's not been a great performance. A few more players than normal gelling, I appreciate that, as Mukul wins it back high up the pitch for Moore. He looks for the through ball to Crow. Good run from him. Oh, the shot's just wide. Good effort indeed. But just caught it on the half volley, got a little too much on it. And it goes wide at the far post. It will be a win though. We made hard work of it, but 2-0's going to be the score. And of course, we have to end with an injury. The 121st minute, it's not even a player who started. It's someone who came on as a sub, who shouldn't have been unfit. I hope that's not a big one, because he's our big money signing. As Moore's in, Woodwork hit by the header. It's cleared away. It was offside anyway. But that will be it. We've played 3.5 minutes over the allotted time. Must have been due to the injury. But it is a win, and that is the most important thing here. On to deadline day, I still need a backup right back, but the rest of it I'm happy with. No point in going attacking, it made no difference to our performance. Now don't let this injury be too bad. Of course it is. 6 to 7 weeks and Pardee will be out. Not the best sign for us at all. But let's be fair, at least it's the stage of the game we're not playing many matches. He didn't come with a bad injury record, but he's done his knee ligaments and that's going to be a worry. Might even be a future problem as well. We're through to face Carrick Rangers. Of course, Shea Lucas won't be able to play in that one. Sean Daniels changed the game once Mukul came on up front. Provided the service, provided the assists. It is a 2-0 win. And maybe that's part of our plan moving forward. Go a bit more direct. Get it to Mukul, get Griffiths in behind. Try and score goals via that route. We'll see. But for now, it's on to deadline day. A right back is needed. As you can see from the top here, we've got a couple of players on trial. And if we get to deadline day, maybe one of them comes in. Let's go and find out. Well, here we go. It is transfer deadline day. It is an interesting day for us because maybe the interest is going to be in players going out, although no one's wanted at the moment. We've had interest in a few of our stars all year. Lots of players who don't want to sign new contracts at the minute. But are we going to get rid of any of them today? I'd suggest probably not. The big news is whether we can get a right back. You can see we've got 2 players on trial. Their trials end tomorrow, and I'd imagine at some point today we're going to get interest in whether we should sign them or not. They're both very good players. They're both better than Dobbin. It's just whether we can afford the wages. When they came on trial, that wasn't the case. Let's get through the day and see if it is now. Well, let's talk through 3 of the options we've got at right back. And we start with someone I've been looking at for a long time. He's a player who was nearly out of contract last winter. We tried to sign him then. Linfield offered him a new deal. He is someone who has been loan listed a few times and he is again now. So if we're not able to get one of the players that's already on trial, Jim Wood could be a solution for us. He's a good youngster. He's 20 years of age and the wage demands aren't big. But because we're over the wage bill at the moment, we can't really offer them, although we can make it up in transfer fee. So that's someone I'm keeping an eye on. But let's have a look at the 2 that we've got on trial at the minute. So if we show the unavailable players, you can see Brooklyn Genesini and you can also see Kenton Richardson. Both of them 3.5 star ability. Richardson's a bit older at 29, but he's also a bit more versatile. If we go to Brooklyn Genesini, he is the best player. He is only 26. He's a better, more natural right back. 6'5", massive jumping reach, but maybe not as good going forward. So is it worth getting him just for the set pieces? I don't know. Both of them have got experience elsewhere, so let's offer and see what they want. So, Genesini originally wanted 500 quid a week. Let's see how that's changed. It's still 500 quid a week. He is ruled out of the reckoning. Kenton Richardson, he wanted originally 400 quid a week. Let's see what his demands are now. He wants to sign for 300, so he might be an available option. But he does want a full 2-year deal, which at 29, we saw with Aaron Jarvis, that could be an issue. We do, to make that happen, need to move this up a little bit. Not sure we can actually get there. So this might be a problem as well. I think we're going to be forced to go for Jim Wood. And if Kenton Richardson was only a 1-year solution anyway, then let's just get the Linfield loan player in. Jim Wood, make an offer. You want 40% and then 80% if he doesn't play. We'll just have to make it up with fees. I'm sure it won't be a lot. 500 quid. Yep, that covers that one. And 1 grand. That doesn't quite cover that. It would have to be 1,100, I think. So let's see whether that gets accepted or not. Hopefully it will. It does. Jim Wood, please agree to join us because you are the missing piece of the jigsaw here. Let's continue. See if we get any luck. We do. Ryan Martin has gone off to Anna. He made 4 appearances for us, 2 in the league. He's a decent pro, but he just never developed yet again. This man, though, is going to be the next star at the club. Jim Wood, jovial personality, but he's okay. He's naturally fit. He's 6 foot. He's good in the air. He's good defensively, and he's not the worst going forward. Gives us an option at centre-half in an emergency. Gives us a very good option at right-back. And we've got a deadline day signing. Jim Wood is into the club. Let's go and meet him and see how good he is. And there we go. 3-star ability, 5-star potential. Maybe not quite as good going forward in the role we use, but definitely competitive with Dobbin. Definitely a lot better than Daniel McGill as a sub right back. And again, for that festive period, we've basically now got 2 good players in almost every position. And that's something that cannot be replaced. So Jim Wood is into the club. He is rated similar to Dobbin and Ben Williams. Not the most consistent, not the best going forward, but potential is there. And if we get the right development into him, he might well become a star. With the option to buy as well, if we do make Europe, it could well end up being a bigger signing in a longer term as well. Dobbin is a bit unhappy because of his arrival. It's not going to affect the number of games you play. It just means that when you're not available, we're not going to have to play Daniel McGill, who is only here as a mentoring lead. David Jeffrey has really helped us out. Got to praise him as director of football. But let's go and get to the end of the day. Will we get any offers for our stars? If not, that's probably the final action of the window. Well, it's not a big one, but we have had an offer for one of our players. Connell Crawford is a 17-year-old striker who cannot finish to save his life. But Annie United want him for 10 quid a week. And given where our wage bill is, that is not a bad deal at all. We'll try and get it done with just under 10 hours to go. And any players we can get off the wage bill is a big bonus at this point. Well, Connell Crawford has gone on loan to Annie United. He'll join Ryan Martin, who just went permanently. Peter McAllister is another right back we looked at earlier in the summer. He wasn't that great in the end. He is now going on loan to Newry, so good to see him coming to Northern Ireland. 5 hours left, it's calming down. We'll have a look at what the other clubs have done in a minute. But for us, I think it's window finished. Well, the window finishes with yet another player saying they're going to consider their options at the end of their contract. The biggest spenders are Linfield, who spent $300,000 on a player. Sean McAllister from Hartlepool, League 2 National League level, $4,000 a week, big signing, and played really well in Europe, as you can see there. So they are starting to step up and make it to the next level. The deadline has passed, we're happy with that. Don't think we need to register anybody else. We don't. Most of our squad is under 21. And if we go through to the final message, the financial update's all right. But that's only because we play Linfield at home. Let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. We're going to leave it a couple of months now, I think, because I want to show, as I have in previous years, the games where we're most likely to have jeopardy. A home to the bottom half sides, or even away, as we saw with Dergview, I'd fancy us to pick up a lot of points. Those middling sides like Cliftonville and Ballymena, they're going to be very cagey games. 0-0s, 1-0s, whatever, like we've seen already. However, the games I want to show are the ones where we're expected to get beaten. See if we can spring a surprise. So with that in mind, we are going to come back Cups dependent at the end of October. Coleraine away and Larne away. 2nd and 3rd place last year. 2 of the sides at the moment we've got to try and catch in the short term because they're the ones that are holding those places into Europe. We don't want to go through the jeopardy of a playoff every year. We don't want to have to try and win a cup every year. And beating those 2 is the only way to stop that. So if you're looking forward to seeing if we can do it and you did enjoy that episode, please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know what you thought of our deadline day signing and our window overall. And of course, what about the cup? Do I need to think about playing a bit more direct now? It seems to be where our goals are coming. Turn that notification bell on to get alerts every time a new video video releases. We'll be back with this one in a couple of days' time. But in the meantime, we're continuing our first season with a new club in the head coach. I'll put the link to that in the eye above and above my head now. Please do check out the sponsor HelloFresh too, link down in the description below. And I'll see you back here in 2 days' time as we head away to the big boys.